That's my baby. That's my baby.
We're going at it at 110%.
I just want 5 minutes of happiness, please. Just give me 5 minutes.
And they scored! They did it!
Left, beat left.
What the hell was that?
Oh, yeah! What the fuck are you talking about?
What is up, fam? Good evening, good afternoon, good night, depending where you're checking us out from. We are back for another episode of the weekly Roundup here live on A2D. And we got another fun one lined up for you today. We're going to talk some NCAA tournament. Just had a big one end. We're going to obviously talk some Gonzaga, talk some Sixers. We're also going to be joined tonight by Lions Fight heavyweight Daniel Big Kansas Gallenmore. So got a lot of stuff going on. And as far as our show sponsor, I want to quick throw this over to Zach real quick, my friend.
Yes, Stephen, we've got a new show sponsor, somebody that I've known a long time that went to high school with. We've had a long personal history with here at A2D Radio as far as broadcasting basketball games and things like that go. And he's now working in real estate, and we've been able to lock him up and do some more business with him. And Alan Foy, if you're looking to buy or sell a home, looking for a change in career or brokerage, contact Alan Foy of eXp Realty LLC at 302-682-8820 or visit him at alan.foy@exprealty.com. One of the best people I've ever met in my life. Awesome human being. He's going to lead you down the right path with all of that stuff. Alan, as I know him, AJ, that's how I've known him my whole life. But Alan Foy, trust me, you can't go wrong. And I'm so happy to have him on board. We're thrilled all the way around. Tommy and all that. Tommy knows who he is a long time too, and we're thrilled that we'll be able to do more business with him here at A2D. And it was one of those things he wanted to be able to, because of our relationship personally. He said, I want to make sure that it's something that we can do on your show and your guys' show. Just to make sure that because of our personal relationship for as long as it's been that it's something that you can get out there. And I'm thrilled about it, man. I can't wait. I'm hoping that with the 8 o'clock time slot, as we've seen over the past couple of weeks, it's going to get a lot more exposure as opposed to where we've been at in the past with the
especially with sports, everything opening back up. We're gonna be talking some live NCAA finals here, some the last bit of the Final Four. Get your Phillies reactions. I know you were watching the game. I already seen a few posts by you, so I'm sure you're chomping at the bit because I still think you're more a baseball guy than you are a football guy at heart. Just in my opinion, just from the outside looking.
I don't look like a baseball player with the hair and the beard and all that. I mean, come on, man. I have that scrappy look, right?
Let's see what the fame is tuning in here. Yeah, we already got the Phillies fans in here. Good old Bryce is in here.
The bullpen hasn't allowed a run in 2 games. 5 innings or 5 1/3 innings in 2 games. They haven't allowed a run. They've been dominant.
And Pete agrees to the poll. He thinks we will see one. And Bryce thinks Baylor wins.
Jay
says agrees with the poll, but he wants to know how about them Phillies.
How much, Jason? How about them? Let's go. Got to be excited. They look good. The offense hasn't even gotten going yet, right?
The big man's in the house. Big man's in the house. Oh man, he's calling for a UCLA win. He's calling for an upset.
Wouldn't that ruin everything, Tommy? It'd be like we're all here like talking about this Baylor Gonzaga matchup that's going to be so exciting in the championship game, and UCLA just comes and ruins everything, spoils the whole party, and just fuck it.
And obviously, we know Tommy's happy about the Philly start already. Wheeler's looking good already. Wheeler's looking pretty good already.
Dude, he looked really good. 100-mile-per-hour fastballs, painting the black. I mean, it was. I sit at home. You're like, this guy, like, he was filthy today, and obviously you don't expect that all year, but man, Nola and him at the top of the rotation, they can pitch like that consistently. really, really good 1-2 punch.
Yeah, and that's what we were kind of hoping for. You know, like I said, hopefully it's something that kind of develops and progresses over the season, where you know he's continued to pitch at that level, on this level. That's what we need to see from him. That's what we need from him. That's what this team needs if they want to see the postseason.
You have two guys. I mean, Nola and Wheeler. They both have the stuff and the capability to be number one pitchers, right? If they put it all together and they're doing it, put it all together at their best, that's what they are. But consistently, at times we've seen it with Nola. Maybe in September we'd like to see him be a little bit better than he has. But to me, Aaron Nola, he's a legitimate number one pitcher in baseball. When Wheeler's dealing at his best stuff and he's healthy, he's definitely a number one pitcher in baseball. To have two of those guys at the top of your rotation, that's why we've talked. I think people are sleeping on this team a little bit. I think this team's maybe smelling themselves a little bit. They're really confident what they are now. And when you have Joe Girardi, leading you, and Dave Dombrowski's the guy in the front office leading everything, I think it's easy for the players to feel very confident in everything that they are as a team, because they feel like no matter what it is down the stretch, whatever holes there are, Dombrowski can make it happen.
You think it's really important them completing the sweep, putting that statement on Atlanta, getting in their heads. We are the best team in this division, and try to take advantage of maybe getting some little early swagger going on.
Yeah, I think this team's more. Forget about talent. This team's a little bit, when you talk about guys like Harper and Real Muto and Gregorius and McCutcheon, those guys, they're little swagger guys, right? Those are guys that are a little bit more. It's just about in the moment. The way they play the game. You get like a momentum wave going, and this is the type of team I love. When you talk about a team that gets hot, that starts playing the best baseball, and then you talk about how that momentum snowballs. This is the type of team that has the right guys to make all that happen. You just got to get that momentum going in the right direction, at a consistent basis. You got to get a 5, 6, 7 game winning streak. But early in the year, I mean, that's you get off to a great start, right? I mean, that makes it so much easier in a tough division that we're going to have. With probably 4 really, really good baseball teams, you're putting some pressure on some teams early to be like, hey, we're here. We've taken that step forward, and we at least feel, forget about what anybody else feels. We at least feel as a team like we're ready to compete. I think they look at it the way we've been talking about. They look at it, I think, as a team is saying, we were a bullpen away last year, right? Forget about everything, how many games under the 500 they finished, yada, 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 whatever, all this nonsense. If we have a consistent bullpen, we had the second worst ERA in baseball history last year. That's how bad it is, right? As a whole pitching staff, we had the second worst ERA in baseball history. It's like a forever ago, whenever they started keeping track of that number, an insane amount of time ago. So I think this team feels it's like, hey, if we put that part of the team together where their pitching improves by that much, there's no reason why they don't feel like they can compete in the National League East. I don't care what the experts or the pundits or anybody like that feels. I look at this team and they seem like a confident group. They seem like a group that thinks, they can make some noise. I'll ride with it. I'll throw some money down on it. Sure. I like the horses in this stable. Let's go.
Yeah, I mean, I'm liking what I've seen so far, but I mean, it's early. I don't want to, we tend to do the crown things early in this city. So
I think that's what I say. I think it's important to get off the good start, because for me, this team's more of a get out in front and ride that momentum sort of team than it is we got to try to play from behind and play catch up and go chase the team down the stretch sort of team. I'd rather them get out to like a really good start and maybe try to build a little bit of lead in the NL East and let teams come chase them. It just provides you. It provides the confidence, as you get into the middle part of the year where you feel like, okay, we're 1 or 2 moves away from perhaps really making some noise here. And that's where you can really look at Dombrowski and say, hey, that's why this guy was brought in here in the offseason, right? It's his time to shine, go make something happen. This is what he does. Getting off to a good start makes all of that possible.
Yeah, well, the first 2 games, they're definitely something to smile about if you're a Phillies fan. What's up, Adam? Of course, we're ready for March Madness. We're ready to see, if Gonzaga can really make this thing happen. Our main man Tommy thinks UCLA might be primed for upset city, and they might take Gonzaga out. And Gonzaga has been prone to that over the years. But I think a lot of people are really kind of feeling Adam tuning in, but.
I don't think UCLA is going to have anything for Gonzaga. I'm looking forward to that title game. Let me tell you,
Mr. Friel's hopping in here. Feeling Gonzaga's. They're just too hot right now. You're not going to be able to do it. So it looks like for the general consensus, everyone feels like we are going to finally see a first team since Bobby Knight's Indiana Hoosiers to go undefeated. I mean, somebody give me a reason why it's not going to happen. Give me a reason, and we could discuss that. Other than that, I have to agree to the poll right now. I have to agree with everyone else is saying, and it's not just because everyone else is saying. It's just because that team is just really that good right now.
Well, Bryce kind of brought it up, and he says he thinks Baylor could win. And I mean, it's easy to say something like that after watching the performance today. But
no, I don't think Bryce said it. I think he pulled up there. See.
He said Gonzaga will beat UCLA, but I think didn't he say that he thinks Baylor would win the whole thing? Or is that one of his early comments? I believe I saw something about him thinking Baylor would win it. Him saying Baylor was going to win it all.
He just said Baylor wins. That's all he said.
Baylor wins.
Yeah, that's all he
said.
So
I don't. I guess that could be interpreted in a lot of ways. He's just saying Baylor wins, meaning he beat Houston today. I guess that could be the way it means too. Not only
I cannot blame you for being hyped, my friend. You have to be at this point in time. We were robbed of it last year because of COVID. I believe a lot of these student athletes are more than excited for this. That their time to kind of get a little bit spotlight on them before they get their chances to go to the draft or continue to build their legacy with their respective colleges. So I'm definitely pumped for it. I'm definitely pumped for these guys getting this chance here. Obviously we're getting ready. We're waiting. I think we're about 30 minutes away from UCLA and Boston. So or UCLA and Gonzaga. I'm saying both.
I'll tell you what, and me and you have had plenty of conversations off the air behind the scenes. I've obviously I've said it for probably a couple of weeks now. I thought Baylor, outside of Gonzaga, I thought Baylor was the best team. I said Gonzaga's clearly the best team. I think Baylor's the only team that maybe could make some noise with them. But after their performance today, you want to talk about teams that are red hot. We said that somebody said, Jake said that Gonzaga is just red hot right now. Red hot. Baylor just smoked Houston by 20 points in a Final Four game. You want to talk about red hot. Baylor's the team that's clicking on all cylinders right now. And if you're Gonzaga, I think they're the one team that you look at and you say, man, I don't want to play them in the national title game. Man, they're going to be tough to beat. They're athletics. Look at Baylor. Everything that Baylor is the one thing that probably could give Gonzaga problems. They're freaky athletic. They play great defense. They can rebound. It's all the things that could slow Gonzaga down and give Gonzaga problems. Baylor has it. I still think Gonzaga's the best team in the country, but there's been plenty of times where teams are clearly the best team in the country, and somebody has something for them, come March Madness and makes it happen and pulls the upset. There's a reason we haven't seen, as our poll question talks about, we haven't seen somebody go undefeated and win the national title since 1975, right? And it was Bobby Knight's Indiana Hoosiers, right? That's how long ago it was. We're talking about 45 years ago, 46
and we've had some
amazing,
and you got to think about how many amazing like NCAA men's teams that we've had since then. That's
all those filthy Duke teams with Christian Laettner and Grant Hill. Those teams that some of those Coach K teams. Of the early '90s. You had the Fab Five team that never did it, right? Some Kentucky teams under Calipari, and even before you had Kentucky teams under Rick Pitino that were really good, right? And you talk about how long it's been in that 45, 46 years, all the great programs, none of them. We thought, I think the closest we could talk about maybe this happening, the most serious, is the year that Wisconsin beat Kentucky in the Final Four, 2015-ish, 2016-ish, whenever it was. The year Wisconsin had Frank Kaminsky and Sam Decker, both of them went in the first round of the NBA draft. Yeah, there was a lot of hype around that Kentucky team that they were going to go undefeated, and they were 37-1 or whatever it was. They lost to Wisconsin in the Final Four. I think that's really the last time we looked at this and said there was this much hype, or there was this many people that thought it was going to happen. Gonzaga's made it further than that Kentucky team did. They're going all the way to the national title game. So there's one team left that can make it happen. That's Baylor.
Now, as we're still waiting
that's me saying that UCLA has no chance. Sorry, Tommy. You think UCLA pulls the upset? That's me saying that UCLA has no chance. Gonzaga wins and goes to the national title game. Baylor's the only team left with a chance at that.
Now, I want to get your thoughts now. We also want to talk some Sixers too a little bit as we're going to be going through it tonight. JoJo's back tonight. How do you see him looking from here on out? Or is he going to have a little rust?
He should step right back in and be the MVP player that he is. He's not going to win the MVP anymore because he can't stay on the court consistently enough, and we talked about that. But that doesn't change the fact that he's the guy that is that type of impact player when he is on the court. So they held it down pretty good. There was a time we talked about when he first got hurt and he missed those first few games that we felt like this team was in trouble, and instead, they held it down pretty good. They looked pretty good for the most part without him. But he's clearly their best player, and he's got to be their best player down the stretch. And I'd rather him take all these games off and take all this time off and be healthy come playoff time and all that than worry about anything that's going on now in the past 10 games, 15 games, whatever. I think there's some of these people that get too caught up in his injury history and all that. I could really care less how many games he's playing in the regular season. If he's healthy come playoff time, this team's a championship contender. That's all we got to worry.
Now, who do you think? Who do you think probably benefited the most, like minutes wise? Getting more floor time, confidence, etc. from that. Like a guy like Matisse. You think he's really gonna be able to give us quality minutes and points? Now throughout the playoffs.
I mean, I just look at it as what you've got going on right now. I think what Doc said speaks volumes. They feel as if what they've got is working. There's not the rotation that they currently have is working. Everything that they've got going with the players in the spots that they're playing, the way they're doing things with guys coming off the bench and all that, it's all working the way that they like it to. That's why Doc said he didn't want them to go out and make a significant move at the deadline and all that. I'm cool with everything we're seeing right now. I'm cool with all that. Come playoff time, to be honest, I'd like to see Embiid and Simmons play 40 minutes apiece. I feel like they need to be on the court that many minutes a game. Embiid can't play 40 minutes. Well, figure it the fuck out. You need to figure it out come playoff time. How about that? I don't care if his knees fall off next year if we win a championship this year. That window is going to.
But you can't really do that if you're not going to keep a guy like.
Make it happen.
Yeah, but you can't do something like that if you're not going to keep a guy like Dwight Howard. You might be able to kind of maybe use him a little bit more during the playoff run, and if you kind of get into that situation where you're in where you're in a Eastern Conference final, NBA finals, etc. That's when you kind of turn it up.
Yeah, I mean, I don't, Dwight Howard's at his best when he can be a mentor, veteran guy coming off the bench. I mean, we saw when he put any type of significant minutes. I mean, even Doc, could have, you're way too much of a veteran player to be getting technical fouls and getting thrown out of a basketball game when you're the only center on a roster. You're not some rookie. I mean, like, and even Doc was like, he's got to know better than that. Like, you could almost see their frustration as an organization with him in that moment. Like, I don't need that shit. He needs to play as few minutes as possible, in my opinion. I think that's where he's best. Once he gets on the court, there's just something about how Dwight Howard seems to be a toxic. He seems to have like a toxic effect on your team once he's on the court. The more toxic it is.
I don't know why he always gets that, but from the players, he like he said, he's always kind of like being like, at least over the last handful of years, been kind of like that mentor veteran guy. So
Let him sit on the bench and be in, Joel's ear when he comes over to take a break and sit on the bench for a few minutes. Then, the minute he's in there trying to do anything, he does more harm than good.
You think Dwight Howard's going to be one of these guys? Will probably be a good coach when he's done.
Yeah, he definitely could be. He seems to have that type of passion. You know what I mean? He seems to have that type of, of mind. Wanting to help the younger players become, the best that they possibly can be, and I think he's a guy that, like Kobe. The famous thing with Kobe. Kobe used to call him soft when they played together in LA. That's why it didn't work out. Oh, he's soft. Oh, he doesn't have a killer. I don't think he has a killer instinct the way guys like Kobe did, but guys like Kobe wouldn't make good coaches for that reason. I think a guy like Dwight, his ability to relate to all different players and be able to relate to his teammates and stuff like that, to a guy like Kobe, that comes across as soft. I think to a guy like Dwight, like that's what makes him, that's what will make, somebody like him a good coach in the future is his ability to be able to, try to sit there and relate with what the common player is, even though there are a lot of old school fans that doesn't really, that rubs them the wrong way. That's what the game is, and he's got a passion for the game and a mind for the game that makes you think he'd be a good coach. I think his teammates, would tell you they like him as a teammate. They don't care about the technical fouls and all that nonsense that comes with it. So I think that kind of tells you about what a guy can be as a coach.
I think all of us care about the technical fouls. He's a veteran
presence in my life,
I think all of us care about the technical fouls, the fans.
I do. But how many have his teammates speak badly of him? None, right? They all.
That's not going to happen.
Yada yada yada.
And here we are, a few minutes in. It's 14-14, and Ben just went in for a jam.
Ben went in for a jam. Lovely. Maybe he'll shoot a 3 today.
Unforgiving.
Is there like a more like, I feel like I need to start betting on sports and just every Sixers game I'm going to take the over under. Like
out of their 16 points, the 10 of them has been in the paint. I think they're kind of set up to plan a play like that old school type of basketball, just kind of drive and kind of make your points inside. And when that doesn't happen, that's when we wound up getting ourselves in trouble. And that's why that's why you brought in guys like Danny Green and Seth Curry, so you could try to supplement that stuff with some shots. So
there's not a more sure thing in all of sports betting than whatever the over under is on Ben Simmons and threes in a game, taking the under. Like, I'm convinced. Like, if the over under is 1.5 threes for Ben Simmons in the game, take the under. It's 1 3, take the under. Like, no matter what, take the under. And I'm like, you're like almost guaranteed to win money. It's got to be the most sure thing in sports gambling.
What do you think? It's like it's like an 80-20 type thing that you're gonna win it.
It might even be more than that, to be honest. Like, I'm trying to get the remote to work here.
And Danny Green just missed a wide open look in the corner. Oh.
See, that's a problem. I've got the Dodgers-Rockies game on. I'm trying to see what the heck is else on TV.
See, you're in that weird market. You don't get us. So
I don't get a lot of things. Let's see. Here's the national game. It's Cleveland-Miami. I don't even think it's national. That might be.
I gotta go find that streaming site thing for you to send you the link so you can just freaking.
I actually have a streaming site. I just don't have I could watch it if I wasn't doing the show. I need a new computer. That way I can watch a game on the computer as I also do the show on the phone.
Well, you need to not do the show on the phone and do it on the computer, and then stream the phone to the TV.
One way or the other, Steven.
You just stream the phone to the TV, brother.
Oh, is that what you do? See, I'm not like you young kids now.
I'm young. Thanks,
you
brother.
Thank you.
I love you. I love you tonight, Zachary. Tell my boys I'm young. Oh, man. Really, though.
I'm drinking a Bang energy drink, so look out here, Steven.
Oh, yeah.
We didn't want to fall asleep like we did the past couple weeks, so we were ready.
No,
to go.
You were the one falling asleep, brother. We were. That's
I know,
what you were saying.
Were concerned about.
You were like, man, I need to get like one of these energies to sponsor you. That's why you and Thomas whore out Bang energy like there's no tomorrow.
Well,
I think that's
yeah.
what we need to do one of these days. We need to pull one of the like the screen grabs of like you and Tom and everyone drinking the bangs and just start sending out tweets to them. Be like, listen, we give you guys enough promo. It's time to just sponsor us. Just saying, bang if you're listening. What's up? Now. We're gonna talk some more Sixers. What do you want to do now?
I don't know. What'd you say? What's the update? You got to give the update. You got
All right,
the
man. 18-16. I can't even tell. I was at the fail line and it just popped up one of the ticket promos for the suite rentals.
Ticket promos. That sounds fun.
That's something I can ask you right here, brother. Are since things are open up, are you going to be catching any live sporting events?
I will be, absolutely. I already went to the NASCAR race that was in Miami the end of February there. I'll probably go to some I'll try to catch the Phillies in Miami maybe at some point this year, make the trip down there to go see them.
What about
those games, like the Red Sox or the Yankees or anything like that?
See, even brother over here knows you never stream on the phone. Never.
I mean, I don't know what you want me to do. We've been trying to get the computer to work for months, and it just keeps telling us that it's fucking broken. But that's what happens when you've got a 10-year-old laptop. It's fucking old, bro.
All right. Well, I think we need to start a GoFundMe fund for Zach over here. We can get him a new laptop. Nah, but you also, I know we're gonna be getting some we're gonna get some fights in your backyard too. We gotta get you to go to that. Bare knuckle boxing is gonna be coming in July. That should be a pretty big one.
I'll definitely go check all that out. If you get me the media passes, I'll be there.
I'll talk to Dave. I see what I can do about you. And they just had a cool fight announcement too. A couple UFC veterans, Blast from the Past is coming back out of retirement. Veteran Tim Kennedy is coming back, and he's gonna be fighting freaking Keith the Dynamine Jardine is gonna be. What is wrong with Keith Jardine? I actually think his herky jerky style is beautiful for bare knuckle boxing. What is wrong with you? Leave Keith Jardine alone.
Herky jerky, is that related to the hanky panky? How about the hokey pokey? Are they all?
Man, here you go. How else would you describe his fighting stance?
I don't know. I've never seen it, but I was just saying.
So,
hanky panky, herky jerky, and hokey pokey—they're all cousins.
You're over there running your mouth and you never even seen his fighting, so they even have a reason to laugh. Have a reason to laugh, brother.
Tell the people the truth, Steven. Let's tell the people the truth. I got exposed last week by a guest who was like, he has no idea what he's talking about. He has no idea about combat sports, does he? He has no clue. Well, we already knew I had no clue, and I was just over here trying to fake it till I make it, and you were the fucking, combat sports master. But now I got put on blast.
I'm the master now.
Idiot. Because it was amateur hour whenever I'm trying to talk about combat sports. So now that
you're the one burying yourself,
I've got to try to do whatever I can to make it as entertaining as possible. Even if I can't, I may not know what that submission hold is called, but I can make jokes about the hanky panky and the hokey pokey and the herky jerky. Okay, so that's where we've got to be with it when I'm talking combat sports. Because other than that, I sound stupid.
No, that just sounded stupid, but I was just letting you go along with it.
Okay, does it sound more dumb than me trying to sit there and talk last week and our guest being like, he doesn't know?
Well, no, I mean, like I said, you talk. There's always things to talk about, brother. We've already been over this, but anyways, let's move forward. We don't need to keep talking about what you don't know. Let's talk about what you do know. Timberwolves are up 20-18, 3:12 left in the first quarter here. And actually, speaking of which, that cue should mean right about now, Tom should be going live on YouTube in either now or in a few minutes, because they're going to be going specifically live, getting your live reactions to all your Sixers. So anyone who's tuning in and want to specifically talk some Sixers basketball, Tom should be going live on YouTube at any moment. And obviously, we're going to be kind of we'll talk a little Sixers to anyone who wants to stay tuned for the interview, for listening to me and Zach BS over here, and we also got the NCAA tournament coming up here.
Yeah, dude, I'm watching a Paul Felder fight right now. I don't know if this is live or not. Is that live?
No, I don't think it's live. I don't think Paul. To my knowledge, he's not.
No,
there's no fight.
UFC Unleashed. It's not live. I just saw
it's not live. I was about to say, like, there's no fight tonight. What are you talking about?
I don't know. It's on ESPN, damn it. And, like, I was just going through the channels, but it's from March of 2020. But, yo, he's busted the fuck open. I wish it was live. It sounds good.
Paul is a banger, brother.
The people we've talked about, the guys that, like, Paul Felder's one of those guys that entertains me because I like all, like, the crazy spin kicks and the back elbows and the spinning back fist and shit like that he does.
Yeah, man, that's one of the, not just that, dude. Paul just, he's one of those guys who bites down on his mouth guard and just comes to fight. He's not like a banger, like wild, but like he's one of these guys that, he's not gonna run from me in the cage. So and that's one of the things,
he's gonna tap you out. He's just gonna kick your ass.
That's one of the things you definitely got to love about Mr. Paul Felder. He's always there, man. He's always the consummate professional in that aspect. But real quick, since we're getting ready to go into that next half of the segment of the show, real quick, get our next sponsor shout out here and give some love to Body Check Wellness. And Body Check Wellness is a line of products that promotes wellness, balance, and recovery by using the full potential of hemp. They come in extract blends, gummies, and topicals. Use promo code A2D for 20% off your order at bodycheckwellness.com. And since we are on that subject, let me again kind of let you guys know we're doing this giveaway. Want to do some things working with both Body Check and what we're doing over here at A2D. So gonna ask you guys we're gonna be working a giveaway. Gonna need you guys to both subscribe to both the A2D channel and the Nasty Knuckles podcast, with Riley Cote and them guys. And anybody who uses this promo code this month, we're gonna be entered into to be doing a giveaway. I'm gonna be giving multiple things away, so not just one person's gonna be winning something out of whoever places an order and subscribes to those accounts this month. I got a signed puck from James Van Riemsdyk. I got a signed photo from Eric Lindros. I got a few other items I'm waiting to come in. We're gonna be hooking you guys up. So guys, please make sure you guys are subscribed to both us here on YouTube and the Nasty Knuckles. And make sure you guys are heading over to bodycheckwellness.com using that promo code for, I think what we said, we're at least doing I think it's like $25. Just for your basic thing over there. Go buy one of the sample extracts and a couple stickers for the kids. Throw them on the car, and get a chance to get something on the back end back from us over here at A2D. Now, as we're getting into it, Gonzaga is getting ready to take the court here against UCLA. We already seen a blowout. Tommy's kind of predicting the other way. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think it's one of the UCLA is going to come to play initially. But I just think Gonzaga is just going to be too much late for them, and they might blow it open to double digits or even upwards of 15 points or more. Who knows?
It doesn't, like, this would be one of those games you can say, usually maybe they're looking ahead a little bit and they feel, they see Baylor just rolled Houston and they're looking forward to that matchup and they have a letdown game. Gonzaga doesn't have letdown games. They're just way too well coached. They always have been. It's like, it seems like one of the things that you always say about them, they're always going to play to the top of their, get the most out of their ability. They're always going to get the most out of themselves. They just don't have, disappointing performances like that. So I'd be shocked if I saw them, have a bad game where it allowed UCLA to stick around the entire game and be there at the end. I'm sure UCLA is going to come out and play a great game. You would hope that that's what they do as an 11th seed in the Final Four, right? But it just, it's if they're within 5 points at the end of this, Gonzaga, didn't do what what they need to do or what they're capable of doing in this basketball game.
Absolutely. Anyone you got your eye on in this game that you think is gonna show out on either team, or you just don't know. You expect Gonzaga to do the thing.
Yeah, I think Gonzaga takes care of business. I mean, I really think they're a team that just, as far as coaching goes, they've been here how many times, they've come how close and all that. This is a team that it just seems like they've been building towards this over the past few years. That's why I'd be if I said Baylor has the chance to beat them, I still think Gonzaga's the best team in the country, and they've been groomed for this moment over the past few years, right? That's why they're going to be so hard to beat. And it's very likely they're that first team in 45 or 46 years, whatever it is, to go undefeated and win the national title. But yeah, it's hell. UCLA, you got to look at it. If UCLA pulls off an upset this game, it's got to be one of the biggest upsets in college basketball history. I mean, you're not just talking about we've seen teams make Cinderella runs to the Final Four and stuff like that before. Butler nearly went and won a national title against Duke as a Cinderella that we were all kind of like, oh, where did that run come from, right? But Butler didn't go through a team like this. I mean, this is unprecedented type stuff. Like Gonzaga being as good as they are, there's no reason an 11 seed should be able to even stick with them, let alone beat them in a Final Four game.
It's happened before. I mean, like you act like that would be like some crazy.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if we've ever had an 11 seed enough.
I'm not saying in specifics.
I'm not a basketball team, have we? I mean, we've seen 11 seeds make runs, but I don't know if we've ever had a year where we've seen a Cinderella team make a run and there's been this much of a powerhouse team on the in the tournament that Cinderella team's running into. You know what I mean? It always seems like. It's like that Cinderella team always seems to run into that buzzsaw finally, and what a great run, and then they run into that team, and it comes to an end. Like Gonzaga's just on a whole nother level of good. There's good college basketball teams, and then there's what Gonzaga is. It seems like so. Unless you have a just completely disappointing performance, a total letdown game on Gonzaga's end, how does UCLA win this? I mean. Right now Mick Cronin's on the screen. Mick Cronin's been a good coach for a long time, right? He was at Cincinnati for a while, and a long time Louisville, or a long time Rick Pitino assistant, I should say. Before that, Cronin's been a good coach for a long time. It's not shocking that UCLA's where they're at, but again, you're going up one of the best. When you're just looking at it, you're going up what's going to go down as one of the best college basketball teams in the history of college basketball. Good luck. This is like, you want to talk about Cinderella. This is like why the Cinderella term was created. If UCLA goes and pulls off this upset, it's like the upsets of all upsets. At this point, that's how good Gonzaga is. So, wishful thinking.
Also, want to get your thoughts. I know, like I said, combat sports isn't your greatest suit, but I think this is something you might be able to touch on. Had Dave Feldman on here, a few weeks and months ago. Almost a month. I guess when it's last month now, so that's what I meant by month ago. And he announced that they're putting together a fighter pension for the bare knuckle boxing fighters. Yeah, I know. And you're giving that look because we've seen this all before. We've heard it all before. It never kind of really actually kind of comes to fruition. What are your thoughts? Do you think it's something that might be able to actually stick and actually kind of help these athletes, after their time, performing in the ring / cage, is over?
I just look at it like this. So let's take everything else out of it. We could sit here and have my opinion's this and your opinion's that, and we could do that conversation all day. Let's look at professional sports. All professional sports. Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, they all have a players' union, right? MLB has a players' union, NFL has a players' union, NBA, NHL, they all have players' unions. Why shouldn't MMA, the UFC, whatever, UFC, at least in general, the biggest, or, I don't want to be disrespectful to all the other, MMA
Oh no, I know
organizations
you're
out
saying
there, but UFC
it's the name everyone knows. It's the name everyone knows.
It's it's the big leagues of MMA, right? Why shouldn't those guys be able to have a union the same way that athletes and all the other big-time professional
see,
sports?
I was sitting there just saying, why shouldn't there just be an overall fighters union?
I mean, that's a good idea
Point
too.
blank,
Where
point
it
blank,
covers
period. Just
all the fighters throughout all the professional fighting
have
organizations.
an international fighters union.
Sure.
And make sure everyone's taken care of in somehow. You're like we're some. I'm not sitting there saying obviously there's going to be situations where you have to have a cutoff with some of these fighters because it's just been either too long since they competed and you'll always have that gray area where we're going to be upset because X guy or X girl didn't get taken care of because of whatever reason. It always happens. You hear that stories with whatever league. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but at the moment they're independent contractors. I mean, they don't have anything that resembles a union of any kind, right? I mean, it's these dudes are out there putting their bodies on the line, getting beat the fuck up every single night, and you got a guy that snaps a leg in two or something like that, fighting, and you're on your own. I mean, there's no union. There's nothing there medically that's gonna help you or support you from the UFC side of things. And I mean, it's almost ridiculous when you think about what these do. You get punched in the face for a living, and the organization that you work for that is paying you to get punched in the face for a living isn't even gonna be on the hook to help you if you end up getting hurt because you're getting punched in the face for a living. It's almost a really silly concept to think that this hasn't happened yet. That we haven't already gotten to the point where a union of this type would be formed. But you like me, like you're a diehard MMA guy, you're a diehard, fight guy.
I'm just dude, listen, I get the fight
sense.
world altogether. Like the fight world is just, we're from Philadelphia, man. We get that stuff.
I don't need to sit here and be like, oh, well, like it's a hardcore. No, I'm just looking at it as well. Every other pro sport has a union. Why shouldn't these guys too? I mean, I think if we just keep it as simple as that.
I just think like I said, like how we just say combat sports in general, like when we just generalize it and on. I just think there should be a union for it. Period. Whether we're talking about boxers,
that union, that union is including boxers and MMA fighters. It's including.
I would hope. Like just so like we like it's just something we would throw out the whole independent contractor thing. You know what I mean? Like when a players from the NFL become professional and they play in the NFL, they're in a union, right?
Yeah. Sure.
Now, obviously, there's levels to it. When we talk about combat sports, you know what I mean? You're not going to be in a union when you make your pro debut for freaking your local promotion. That's not how that works. You're obviously going to have to get to a point where you get into that. But I mean, that's probably where you have a lot of arguments and stuff like that when you're trying to make this whole big thing cover all of that. Is where you have a lot of areas, and then also you have problems where people are taking money from this and that, and like you don't have the right people in the right places. Things don't always work out the way. People take advantage of the athletes, etc. So it's something that I think we're a long ways from. I think fighters union is something I've always talked about. Promotions will probably be always against it for the most part.
Are you talking about as far as like a union goes? You're talking about things outside of just we're talking about medical stuff. You're talking about guys having the ability to kind of market themselves from a merchandise perspective, things like that.
I mean, if you
he actually has the ability to.
Well, yeah,
the NFL and how much those guys make off those products, like an MMA fighter could do the same thing.
Yeah, like not just like as you're saying, like not just where it falls in line to just like their physical and mental health, but also protecting these guys from bad management, bad promotions trying to just take advantage of them. This is why you should have it. Like, hey, reality, your market value is this. Like, yeah, you might be better. Yes, the UFC might be a bigger place, but hey, you might actually be better off going to going to Bellator to start the early part of your career because you can maximize your money with sponsors and because the way they have it. Because remember, the UFC you cannot have sponsors in cage. You cannot have a banner. They have specific uniforms you have to wear, etc. So, like I said, there's layers to it where it's just so different from every promotion where, as you would want to be in the union, like in the UFC have their own union, but I don't think you would ever see it. I just don't. There's just too many moving parts, too many pieces, like you have, like you said, upper level MMA, mid-level MMA, etc. It's rough. And then you have to try to include people internationally wise.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, part of the reason I would say, it's unlikely something like that could happen is because I don't think for me, Dana White's more a guy that like he would rather be like, it's like when Vince McMahon bought WCW back in the day. Like Dana White would rather be the only, professional MMA organization on the planet rather than share the spotlight with other MMA organizations. And I think maybe that's where it's hard to be like, hey, like, why can't your fighters be a part of a union that's also, you've got fighters from Pride and all these other organizations that they're all part of the same union. And, he probably would never allow that. Never mind, I can't allow you to be, any type of relationship with any other organization outside of mine just because. It seems like he's that type of dude. So unless UFC guys are, like, forming their own specific union that's specific to UFC, it seems like it would be hard to ever pull off what you're talking about, like a whole general. Hey, like if you're a professional fighter,
the UFC will never let it happen. That's why, and for the most part, in my opinion, that's probably why it hasn't happened to this date. And touching back on the Sixers, they're they're on a nice little run. It's about 9:20 left in the second, up 36-30. So. They're getting right back into form.
Rock and start. We're just a minute into the Gonzaga UCLA game. It's 5-2 Gonzaga, so they've been running up and down the floor since the opening tip.
I mean, do you expect anything less from them at this point in time?
UCLA is probably going to they're going to come out with a bunch of energy and try to throw everything they have at them early on here. Put some pressure on them, you would have to think. Yeah.
Bounce it back inside as he worked them in. Got to hit that though.
That was ugly. Wasn't even close.
It was from the shoulder, right?
See, it's like I want to see UCLA, like you got some good athletes and stuff on the floor. You could see, like, what I'm talking about with Baylor and Baylor's athleticism. You might be able to see some of that in this game. Like, there could be things that could give Gonzaga problems. Like, right there, he just drove past.
You got to hit that. That was like
that's a wide open shot. But
that was like 6 feet.
But the guy before that drives right past
and he's got to hit that one, too.
Just taking it to the rack, right? Like, but those are things like that I'm worried like Gonzaga maybe doesn't have the athleticism to keep up with that type of stuff. That might be the type of area you could exploit a team like them. Pick and roll here and
another miss.
Like that is like, look, like you could do stuff like that on them all day.
You're just saying they came running out of the floor. Since I turned it back, they haven't laid in the bucket until now.
Yeah.
Gonzaga just got one.
He just that was a flop and a half, right? Jesus. Right. But, drives around a defender, gets a wide open look after driving around a dude and just misses a wide open look. You got to knock down those shots to beat a team like Gonzaga. But
it's a foul there.
Go. Oh, man, that was tight.
Gets the foul there, though. I guess we'll see if this is a flop or not. Oh, no. I don't think that was a flop there, brother. No,
that's a total flop. You don't have to you're not gonna you've been better off just knocking yourself back a couple feet. You can't fall to the ground there. You can't be like fall to the ground like a European soccer player. Come on, man.
Drop the red card.
Yeah, exactly. Really, yeah, seriously. What's up with all the short shorts? Is that coming back? I see way too many players on different teams, college guys, wearing these short shorts. Like, is that like are we doing that now? Like, is that coming back now? Or like we're gonna wear like the shorts that like from the Larry Bird and Magic Johnson days? Like, good Lord.
It's a loose ball.
Timeout?
Is it still good? I don't know. It looked like it's still Gonzaga's ball. It might be. I'm not sure. We have to deal with stupid commercials and whatnot. So
the Equalizer. That looks like a fun show.
No, UCLA.
See, like Gonzaga, like the half court trap. Is that what they're running here?
I don't know. Maybe it looks like it. Possibly.
They were running some type of half court pressure there. Good defense.
Tied it up now. Back.
That's a good shot. They're fading away. That was good defense.
Well, yeah, they took like 3 before that, and they were all bricks.
Yeah.
Oh, since we're still, we're doing the live react and everything, I forgot to ask. I didn't even get a chance to ask you. Did you have any rants you had to get off your chest this week?
Any rants? I did. You know what? Like, I could rant about my job at Wawa, but I might get myself in trouble.
I'm not. I'm talking about sports ones, not personal. Me and you both can go off on that.
I mean, sports related rants. I don't really know if I have any rants. I mean, it's
nothing upset you this week. Is Zach's okay this week? No pissed him off.
I don't know if anything's like made me like pissed off or something like that to the point where I could try to get fired up about something, but I don't know. Maybe by the end of the show we'll have something come across. There's not really been anything that's like upset me to the core where I'm like, I gotta get this off my chest. So I don't want to like try to sit here and make
I'm surprised you're letting Major League Baseball off the hook for moving the All-Star game.
Listen, is it stupid? Yeah, I think it's stupid that they're moving the All-Star game from Atlanta. I think it's as stupid as anybody else. But MLB is a private organization. They can do what the hell they want. It's stupid, but they have the right to do it, just like we have the right to sit here and criticize it for and call it out for being the stupid decision that it is. I'm not going to sit here and get fired up because they want to exercise, their rights as a private entity to do something like this. Yeah, I'm glad you're exercising your rights in this country as a private entity, just like I'm going to sit here and exercise my private rights, and say, hey, it's really fucking stupid that they're doing this. But I'm not going to rant about it. Like, it's not worth, like, good. Like, that's, like, they need to do something like this. Knock yourself out. What's funny about it, the ironic part about it is, they want to talk about why they're doing it because of the voter suppression and all that, and yet you're taking the All-Star game out of a city in Atlanta that you were going to bring a bunch of revenue to what is a predominantly black area of the state of Georgia in Atlanta, and how much revenue is that city now losing because you made this decision? So it's almost like, I get why you claim you're doing it, but at the same time, you're hurting a lot of people. In the process by doing this, you would have brought a lot of revenue to the city of Atlanta with this All-Star game.
It's a pointless flex. It's a pointless flex, is it not?
I mean, to them it's not. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, to them, they feel like this is something that they've got to do, and I get that. I support all. Do what you.
Like
feel
I said,
like you need to do as a
I'm with
entity.
you. I'm with you. Like with businesses doing
that, because I saw your Facebook post about it. If it was something where there was some sort of outside pressure, like if there was actual pressure from the federal government or something like that caused Rob Manfred to make this decision, then I'll call BS on it. Then I'd push the bullshit button and be like, okay, this is a bunch of nonsense. But if they really are making this decision because they feel like but
even if that was true, they would have kept themselves clear of that. Man, come on,
knock yourself out. Whatever. We'll sit here and call out the hypocrisy on it and how stupid it is. But like I said, knock yourself out.
And then the other hypocrisy thing of the week was the Kevin Durant being fined by the NBA for going back and forth with Rappaport.
Well, I mean, listen, if you're stupid enough to use homophobic slurs and stupid language like that in personal messages, I actually find it funny that Rappaport like kind of exposed him. I actually like Rappaport. I like Rappaport. To me, he's like such a. I like the fact he's a little bit of a pot stirrer, and you know how I'm a pot stirrer. I just love guys that stir the pot. And to me, that's what he is. Like, if you're Durant, like, why would you like trust this guy enough to think that you could like, oh, like I could send this type of language in a text message to this dude and it won't get out there and become public knowledge. You know what I mean? Like, I actually like the fact that Rappaport put him on blast. Like, don't be stupid. You know, like he got fined $50,000 to Durant. I mean, what did he do? It's it's not. He's not. He's like, okay, great, like whatever. Like that's not hurting him at all. But just don't be stupid. Like we've been criticizing Durant because of his social media activity for how long? The fact that the dude can't even handle a burner account correctly without exposing himself. As oh shit, that's my bad. Like that was supposed to be for my burner account, and I actually tweeted that from my Kevin Durant account. Like the dude. Maybe this will teach the guy to finally stay the fuck off of social media and just leave it alone.
Yeah, you really think that's going to happen?
No, but this is what happens if you don't. So I'm going to sit here and drop homophobic language and homophobic slurs, in the middle of a private message on social media, and then get mad when people are like, "Oh, well, like, he got fined. That's fucked up." Like, is it? Like, maybe you shouldn't say stupid shit then. Like. Again, I'm not. Like, I'm just saying, like, do I think maybe I do think it's silly, but you've got to know for the NBA that if I say something like this and the NBA finds out about it, they're going to probably fine me a lot of money and not be happy about it. Like that's just the way that that's the way that's going to work. Like you can't say stupid shit like that and then cry foul when the NBA finds you a bunch of money. Like what did you think they were going to do? Like of course they were going to fine you. We criticize the NFL for not letting the players have any fun with certain celebrations and things like that, but we know that the NFL's mantra. You wear cleats that are two different colors like Alvin Kamara does on Christmas, and they're going to fine you a bunch of money because they're assholes. But that's the way it works. It's not like you could. Oh, I can't believe they did that. Really, I can. That's what they do. Like it's that comes with the territory. Is it stupid? Sure, it is. But you had to know it was going to happen, right? Like
yeah. And Jalen Hurts changed his number. Pointless news, or was it just that Cameron Johnson was no longer on the team anymore, and that he simply wanted to wear number 1?
Yeah, no. I mean, listen, like Carson Wentz is living rent free in everybody's head in this city. As soon as he changed his number, right? Like what number? Hold on, what number did Jalen Hurts wear at Oklahoma?
I thought it was, what was it, 2, was it? Or was it 1?
He wore 1 at Oklahoma. I believe he wore 2 at Alabama, and he wore 1 at Oklahoma.
Well, so maybe
it's possible that he changed his number because he wants to have the same number he did as a Sooner. But, I mean, I love the idea that, like, the organization's like, you know what, Carson's wearing number 2 now. We got to get you number 1 or just get you a different number than 2 just so there's that conversation. And, all right, Carson's living rent-free in everybody's head in this city, and I love it. He's living rent-free in fans' heads, the organization's head, players' head. I fucking love it. I hope the Colts go win a bunch of football games and Carson has a great year just so we can watch everybody in this city have a fucking meltdown when we suck donkey balls and Carson's making a run with the Colts to the like an AFC title game or something. I can't wait to watch the meltdown in this city. It's going to be so awesome.
So UCLA is up 12-11 now.
Hey, here you go. It's
still early.
Yeah, you got to think that. Yeah, this is what UCLA needs to do. They need to come out and put pressure on them early here, right? I mean, that's what you had to do if you were UCLA.
Well, like I said, I thought they would. I think is later on is when Gonzaga, if they can, is where they'll pull away. But if you're UCLA, this is what you want early, right? Them missing good looks and
missing shots right now. So
that's what I'm saying. Them missing good looks and you being able to take. Now they have to score here.
Yeah.
That's how you're going to have to beat them. Like that. Now they're up by 3.
Gonzaga, I mean, UCLA's had a ton of success on that pick and roll since the game started. Every time they've run that pick and roll, a dude's had an open look. They just haven't really knocked it down. You know what I mean?
They just got the ball back too without even the shot.
Yeah, good defense inside there with the steal. Good defense by Gonzaga.
Oh.
Oh, call timeout. What are you doing?
That was an ugly exchange.
That wasn't pretty. Yeah, that's what Fuse, the head coach is like, why would you do that? Just call timeout. You got the ball on the ground. Jesus.
Oh, man, that was nuts. It's a goofy little exchange right there.
Is it raining? I thought it was raining down here for a minute. You know, it is in Florida.
Oh, Jesus.
If you don't like the weather down here, wait 10 minutes.
Yeah, the Sixers are starting to pull away, 57-48 with about 3:30 left in the first half.
That's what they need there. That was a good drive there. See, that's Gonzaga, like, you know, that's their bread and butter, but they've had some good looks from the perimeter, and they haven't been able to knock them down so far this game. That's going to have to change. That's going to keep UCLA in the game if they keep missing perimeter shots.
I wonder if Bryce is still here with his boy Cat. Cat's on the court. Yeah, they're up 57-50 now. So you do think all the Philadelphia sports teams will end the night with a W?
All the Philadelphia, I don't know, the Flyers playing?
I think they played. Did they play? I didn't even check. You said Flyers was non grata for the time being, so.
Yeah, I know, but that's you asked me if all the Philadelphia teams win. Well, if the Flyers are playing, then probably not.
Oh, actually, since we're getting ready to hop into that next point of the program, and we're gonna get ready to do our next read, and I wanted to get your thoughts on DMX's situation today.
Yeah, I saw that. It's
crazy.
People talk about one of those things that does drive me crazy is when I see athletes or celebrities, famous people of any kind that have these issues, and people kind of like he's got all this money. What does he know about real world issues? And you're like, it's like money doesn't fix depression. Money doesn't fix those personal demons that come in everybody's lives, and we all have them. Let's be honest. We can all sit there and be like, I don't have you're just being stubborn and having an ego and not wanting to admit that you go through. We all go through shit, right? It weighs on us mentally, and we deal with it in whatever ways we can. But money, fame, all that doesn't help shit like this, and it doesn't help you just fix whatever mental issue you've got going on. And DMX is a legend, right? He's a guy that
dude, I thought it was weird because I didn't make it in work yesterday because my freaking car wouldn't start for whatever reason. So I wound up staying up a little bit later and wound up watching Cradle to Grave. So then I wake up, I wake up and I seen the news that he had an overdose last night, and he's in bad shape and all that, and it's just rough. So, but real quick before we get too far ahead of ourselves, and just get our read out the way. And as we're talking about mental health and awareness and addiction issues, all of us in our families deal with mental health and addiction issues. So we're happy to support the counseling center and Sunrise Detox. So if you guys need any help, or anyone needing help, please call 856-651-8117. Let them know Tom and the guys over at A2D sent you. And I guess back to some basketball, my friend.
Well, let's piggyback off that for 1 second and say the one thing that can hopefully come from this situation, like a guy like DMX having the money, right, is that hopefully that at least gives him access, being, having the financial ability and being such a, a celebrity, a superstar in the music industry, right? Hopefully he's got the ability to be able to reach out and get the help that he needs. Yeah. And he knows the right people that can get him the help that he needs. And he'll at least have the resources to go out and do that. It gives him maybe the ability to do that more than maybe, a normal person would. And that's the one thing you get at it and say, okay, whatever help he needs, we know he's going to have the resources to be able to make that happen.
Now Now Bryce is over here was talking about his Kentucky team should have won two more national titles, and we're talking about NCAA basketball and dynasties and stuff like that. And it's crazy to think how much has changed for Gonzaga over the past 20 years. They were one of the darlings of the tournaments in the early 90s, and like it looks like over the past 20, 30 years that they've become a powerhouse destination. And do you really feel like do you really feel like that Gonzaga program is ready to ascend and become one of the premier NCAA men's basketball programs in the United States?
Oh, I think they are. I think they're there. I mean, I think now, like you said, they've spent 20 years building this. Mark Few has been there now for 22 years. But I can remember being 12, 13 years old, and you had Adam Morrison. That was kind of like your first exposure with Gonzaga. Adam Morrison with the hair and the beard, my type of guy, right? Love that type of shit, right? He was like, when Gonzaga was first kind of coming on the map, and he ended up going on being like a first round. He was like a top 5 pick or whatever it was, for Charlotte, I believe. But like I remember teams like that, they were considered the Cinderella teams at that time. The tournament darlings, as you talk about. And they've gone from that into a team now over the past 5-6 years where you say. Even 10 years maybe where you say every year you expect them to be one of the best teams in basketball, right? It's not about, if they can make a run in the tournament. It's always about, how much of a run they're going to make in a tournament. They're there. I think you used to talk about Adam Morrison and those teams, they couldn't quite keep up with maybe the big programs from like a recruiting perspective and all that. It seems like that's evened out a little bit here in college basketball now. Like, Kentucky went and had 5, Kentucky had times, as Bryce knows, where they had 5, McDonald's All-American, on the court at the same time, and they still couldn't win a national championship. So things have changed a little bit in that dynamic. But, you've seen programs like Villanova, build something here in the current NCAA where you can get guys to stick around for 2-3 years at a time. And actually, University of Virginia did it. Villanova's done it. Now Gonzaga's at a point where they're doing it. They've got the formula that it seems like year after year after year they're going to, be able to maintain and sustain that success. Whereas, that was something that 15 years ago, even though they were a good program that was making deep runs, it still seemed like they were figuring all that out. It seems like they have that figured out now. Every single year they're just solid. They recruit, and they have a system.
Speaking of which, Gonzaga's gone over the last 4 or 5 minutes or so. Gonzaga's going on a nice little run here, and now they're up 23-20. So,
and think about like, and why I brought up Villanova and Virginia and programs like that is because they're all the same. Like they have a system that they run and they recruit to fit that system, right? Like that's what they do. They're going to build a program that fits, what they want their system to be. And, you might not see Gonzaga come get a McDonald's All-American that's going to play 1 year at Gonzaga and then go be the top pick in the NBA draft. But they're always going to end up building one of the most solid programs, in college basketball on a yearly basis. They find a way to, to pump it out year in and year out. They recruit and they do what they, to fit a system that they've built, a system that works for them. And they've perfected that system, right? They've perfected a system that works for them. They don't have to try to beat Kentucky or Duke or North Carolina, but they have a system that works for them that might be as perfect as any system that you see. Go look at all the best programs in college basketball. What Gonzaga does is just as good as any of those top programs in college basketball. They've got the perfect system that fits what they do, and they know how to get the most out of it. That's what it takes to, you talk about being a top program. That's what it is. It doesn't matter if you're like Duke and, like a program like Duke where you consistently have some of the best, high school players in the country coming into your program and going to be the top picks, or you've got a program like Gonzaga or Villanova and programs like that where you're kind of building something over a little bit more of a period of time. As long as you've got something that's working for you and you're perfecting it, you've seen, we've seen, that sustained success from different programs like that, and Gonzaga's among the best of them. They just need to. If Gonzaga goes and closes the deal and wins a national championship this year, you're talking about them the same way we're talking about Villanova, the same way we've been talking about, a program, like the University of Virginia, where over maybe the past 5 to 10 years they've built something that works for them that's different than what other programs around basketball do, but they've had as much sustained success as any program, in the country, right? Because the only thing missing for Gonzaga is the championship. Other than that, they've had everything over the past 15 years. Final Four appearances, deep tournament runs, right? They haven't had the championship yet. That could change in a hurry.
It can change in a hurry.
Think about it. We used to say the same thing about Villanova and Jay Wright. They always have great programs. They always make deep runs. They just never closed the deal. And then he closed the deal and won a national title. And that whole conversation, went away real quick, right? And it went from a program that's solid and they sustain success, and every single year you know what you can expect at them, but they just don't. You can't trust them to close the deal. And now, okay, they've won 2 national championships under Jay Wright. Why can't they? Every single year you've got no questions about their ability to go make a deep run and possibly win it all. They just, they didn't do it this year, but you expect them to be right back in that conversation again next year, right? I don't look at any time here in the near future, as long as Mark Few's there, where I see Gonzaga ever taking, a step back as a program. They're always going to be one of the top programs in the country.
I think moving forward, they are going to be. I don't see why they wouldn't at this point,
I would love to see the Baylor-Gonzaga national championship game, because Baylor's another example of, a program that's built something over a long period of time, right?
Oh yeah, I did. I mentioned this to Johnny when we were on the Combat Sports stuff. I gotta get your thoughts on it. Here in Philadelphia, local MMA promotion guy lost the upper part of his ring finger.
I did actually went and saw the video after we talked about it.
Yeah.
Cutting the glove off and cutting the wrap off of his finger. And that's fucking gnarly.
Like I told you, crazy things happen in combat sports, does it not?
I love the doctor's just cutting off the band, cutting off the glove and the wrap and all that. And he's like, the finger's still there. Okay, good. Like it's oh my god, good. Like the bone's sticking out, but we're all good because the finger's still fucking there.
Yeah, it was just in the glove. Remember we were talking and they couldn't find the freaking thing. They're like, oh, it's not in the cage. Like, oh boy, here we go. And then they had another show last night too. So but we're about a good 15 minutes or so away before we're gonna be joined by Daniel Gallenmore. But actually, one last thing, UFC 260, Stipe finally lost the title. You got Big Babe Francis Ngannou is now the champion. Are you thinking the rematch, or are you thinking John Jones is going to get it? Because a lot of people are not really happy that John could possibly be getting a large.
Oh, boo-hoo. Cry me a river. See, this is the big people go, once again, because no matter what, no matter how much cocaine John Jones snorts, he'll always be a bigger draw than anybody else they have in the goddamn sport.
Well, no, that's what I was laughing, because someone was like, John, this is why John won't get paid. He's not a draw. I'm like, no, wrong. He is a draw. He's just not the top draw. He's not the draw. He doesn't have to be the draw. He is a draw. Period. He averages close to 1 million buys every fight. I mean, he's not well over 1 million like Conor and some of these other guys were, but like he's still like he owned that division with an iron fist for 10 years, and
to this point, nobody still beat him. Right? So people can talk all they want about everything else that goes with it. Nobody's still risen to the occasion to actually beat him. His only legitimate loss wasn't even legitimate, right? It was a fucking technicality on some bullshit elbow. That they early in his career on like an Ultimate Fighter episode or something stupid.
No, it was like one of the Ultimate Fighter it was like one of the Ultimate Fighter finales. He was fighting Matt Hamill.
Yeah.
Matt had posted up when John had taken him down and dislocated his shoulder. John had thrown an illegal 12-6.
An illegal 12-6 elbow.
So they stopped it, but because Matt was waving the fight off because they had stopped it because like it was either the round was going to end and they would have stopped the fight, or John unfortunately hit him with an illegal strike. That because the illegal strike was the last thing that happened before they stopped.
Like
Matt Hamill wanted to win in the fight.
Illegal strike, my ass. It's like it's just ridiculous, But think about it. Like you're gonna go down in history. Like the dude might as well be undefeated. Like that's not a loss, right? Like in all intents and purposes, it's on the record as a loss. But nobody's beat him. nobody's legitimately stepped into the octagon and
I mean, a
beat
lot
him.
of people felt like he's unfairly won some decisions over the last handful of years that he probably
Great.
shouldn't have.
And Muhammad Ali won some controversial decisions too, right? Like every great fighter wins controversial decisions. Like, great. The bottom line is, whatever you think about those controversial decisions, nobody beat him. Nobody beat him.
The last arguing point is now that he doesn't have the leverage that Conor McGregor did have. I'm like, well, Conor McGregor didn't really have the leverage before he got the leverage. So,
Conor McGregor, had all that leverage until he got beaten. Once he got beaten, all that leverage kind of goes away, right? It's like you don't have the ability to step at this point. It's like it doesn't matter how long John Jones steps away from the sport. If he wants to step back into the spotlight and be like, yeah, I'm going to fight this guy. I'm going to fight. Like he's always going to. Okay, well, you know what? John Jones is going to get that fight, or at least it's going to be talking about him getting, a fight like that. Anytime something like this happens, this is the new big name, the new big champion. John Jones is still, the guy that until somebody beats him, that's the sexy matchup. But I think that was the same thing with McGregor until he got beat. Now he's still like a guy that it looks like a sexy matchup on paper, but he's lost some of that superstar draw power.
Like I said, they're going back and forth right now. 29-28 UCLA, going back and forth. I told you it's going to be close early, and Gonzaga will pull away later. Is why kind of my gut feeling.
You get what I'm saying by that. Am I right with that? Like,
absolutely. Here's another thing I'm going to post to you that someone else I already feel that Stipe should get a rematch because he gave Francis the rematch. Granted. And obviously, you have the problem with John Jones, right? So if you're in Camp Stipe, I'm hoping somebody like Brock Lesnar wants to come back and fight John Jones as his warm-up fight, his first heavyweight fight, so they can make the Stipe Francis Ngannou fight happen.
Let's go full professional wrestling on it. We could just have a fatal four-way. It's John Jones, Brock Lesnar. Stipe,
there has been tag team MMA stuff in some countries.
I mean, hey, we need to go let's do it, Dana. You want the new big draw? Put the four of them in the ring in the octagon at the same time and let them all whip each other's ass. Woo! That'll be a hell of a draw. You want to break pay-per-view records? There you go.
I just want to know how that works in a grappling situation.
And then Conor McGregor is the special guest referee.
Who's that freaking guy?
WrestleMania is right around the corner. We're going to try to steal their thunder.
Oh, man. Never happened. Vince and Dana are too cool for them to kind of do something like that purposely. You know what I mean?
They need to work. Wouldn't that be the greatest thing ever? If at some point they did a complete crossover type thing where they found Dana would never do it because Dana feels like the WWE is it would
I don't think so. I think he has a good. I think they both kind of have a good understanding of who they are, etc. So my thing with that is if you're gonna do what you're trying to do, you do it with guys who are getting ready to walk out the door, probably getting ready to be done with MMA. You see stuff like Daniel Cormier's going back and forth and stuff like that.
I just thought it would have been cool if when Brock Lesnar was actually the UFC champion, he somehow got permission from Dana White to show up in the WWE with the UFC title. And it's you had a great opportunity to do some cross promotion type stuff there, but Dana White would never have allowed that. If you're under contract with UFC, you're under contract with UFC type of shit. It would have been a great opportunity though for Lesnar to show up on Monday Night Raw with the UFC title around his waist or over his shoulder, talking a bunch of shit on Raw about winning I'm going to become the first ever guy to hold the WWE title and the UFC title at the same time. Can you imagine the type of shit that would go on there? And you got guys like The Undertaker that are as big of MMA fans as they are. You had the ability to really do some type of crossover promotion stuff if you wanted to. I just we all know the money and the politics with that probably would prevent it from happening. But I think the potential's there, absolutely. Between Lesnar, Ronda Rousey, guys like that is CM Punk, all these dudes that have now crossed over from pro wrestling into MMA and back and forth. It's there's plenty of potential there to do some type of cross promotional stuff, but it's it's got to make sense.
Didn't you have guys that flounder? Didn't you have guys that flounder when they do it like CM Punk and he winds up commentating for Cage Fury instead of fighting. What? No love for CM Punk? You're like, no, care less.
I mean, one of the greatest pro wrestlers of all time. Let's forget his MMA career, though, please.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I seen someone post this up there. If you could change one event in MMA history, so I'll pose this to you. Not just MMA. If you could change an event in sports history in general to have a different overall outcome, like what would it be? Like would you let Karl Malone and the Jazz beat one of those Bulls teams?
I would have changed the 2009 World Series and had us whoop the Yankees' ass and gone back to back because, I mean, man, it would have finally been nice as a Philadelphia team to have some sort of bragging rights over New York City, right? Like, oh, wait, no, man, yeah, New York City got all these championships, but hey, we whipped your ass in that 09 World Series, and and you go back to back all of a sudden, like that's a dynasty that we have there, right? Like those Phillies teams in that time had. We had the one World Series, but we had the potential to build so much more. You could have won one or two more World Series there and been talking about that as one of the, a baseball dynasty of sorts. And instead, you almost look at it as a what could have been type of story. The winning in 08 and then to go back with the 09 team that was even better than that 08 team, it would have been really nice to have gone and beat the Rays and then been able to show up and beat one of the best organizations in baseball and the Yankees in 09 and feel like, to reach the peak of the mountain, you've got to you've got to beat Goliath type of thing. And like the Yankees are like, they're the big bad Yankees, right? Like it would have been so awesome to go whip their ass that year and be able to have, the bragging rights and the back-to-back World Series. And I think, it's something that looking back on it now, I didn't understand. Like, as a kid, I was like, it's just great to go back, win one World Series and go back to back.
You're going the World Series. I'm going the Super Bowl. Keep Donovan away from the bar. The Eagles win that Super Bowl, and him and T.O. actually have a fruitful relationship and possibly win more Super Bowls.
But you see, to me, like as much as I would have wished that outcome was different, that's going to be something that, like in the significance of Philadelphia sports history, you look back on and like that's Donovan's reputation there. Like Donovan's a Hall of Famer if he wins that football game. Plain and simple. Like we want to sit here and talk about how good Donovan is in this city. Like why? Like in my opinion, like that's the one. Like that football game, that Super Bowl against the Patriots in 2004, it changes the whole narrative of Donovan's career. If we win that game,
not just that of Andy's career.
Donovan's and Andy
this whole franchise,
not just a lot of guys on that football team. A lot of guys, right? It changes, the narrative of T.O.'s career. A guy that was a cancer for every team he ever went to and never could win anything, even though he was one of the greatest receivers of all time, type sort of thing. It just changes the narrative so much. But that's going to go down in history where, it seems like now we have enough evidence to know, the guy went out partying the night before the Super Bowl and came up small in the biggest game of his career, biggest game of his career to that point. And people can get mad about that in this city. I know there's plenty of fans that still get fucking triggered by that.
So I'm gonna go around the horn. I think we both unanimously agree that that's a Phillies moment. Like maybe that 11 team right before Ryan ripped his freaking Achilles apart and that whole rest of the team fell apart. They were amazing that year, and then. It is what it is. That's another one. Do you have a Sixers one that you would like to change, or a hockey one?
That NBA Finals team where Allen, just carried us on his back. I mean, obviously that Lakers team is.
You can't change that outcome. They weren't beating that team.
But wouldn't have that been like what an awesome David versus Goliath story that would have been to watch Allen. Not just carry that team to an NBA Finals, but carry that team to an NBA championship. I mean, that would have been.
He would have made he probably wouldn't be alive today if that would happen because who knows how big how big he would have became if that would have happened.
Well, and that's part of it, right? Like I think most people that are big time basketball fans will sit there and give Allen the credit that he deserves about how good he was, but there's plenty of people that we've heard say Allen Iverson's an example of a waste of talent. What could have been a guy that could have been so much more? Well, he never won anything.
I would have said
one of those changes if you win that NBA Finals.
I would have said one of those earlier years with Charles that the Sixers were able to get it done.
For those Flyers fans out there, you had that Lindros team right in the mid '90s, where you had Lindros, LeClaire.
I would have liked to not getting our heads kicked in by the Red Wings in that that was it 96 or 97 Stanley Cup final.
Yeah, you arguably had at the time. I mean, that might be the best Flyers team of the past 40 years. You know what I mean? Like that's when you look at how good that team was, and the Red Wings obviously are. They were a dynasty at that time, but that's if you're a Flyers fan, that's probably the one that you look at and say, man, what a great team that was, and you had nothing to show for it, type of thing. And then at the time, you thought, okay, we'll have other chances, and then it went to hell real quick after that, with Lindros and all the injuries and the concussion problems, and then the trade that came about it, and it just seemed like it left a bitter taste in a lot of people's mouths.
Yeah, then we wound up with little brother. I don't know. It seems like since that era, like the fans kind of haven't bounced back and really like gotten behind that team since then.
Yeah, well, you haven't had like a Flyers team where you looked at and went, "Wow, they're really good." Like you've always had like that 2010 team that made the Cinderella run to the Stanley Cup Finals, and then
they tore the team apart the next season, right? Yeah, gotcha.
You've had teams like that, but I mean, man, you talk about like how talented that mid '90s team was. Flyers fans would kill for a team of that quality again.
I think that's a pretty fair point. I'll tell you how you could argue it. I mean, they haven't had a team on that level since then, like you said.
UCLA, they really are. They're playing their ass off. I
already told you, man. Like, look, Tommy's things about to come back to it, where he's got UCLA.
Right now, UCLA is winning the rebounding battle, and it just seems like they're playing more physical. It's those. That's what I was talking about with Baylor. If Gonzaga could survive this, and they go to a team, they go to play a team like Baylor in the championship game. Baylor's even more athletic than UCLA, and they do the same things: the great defense, the rebounding, all that. They're going to give Gonzaga fits.
And they're looking pretty good right now.
Yeah, I mean, this is, I don't want to like sit here and make it because I still think Gonzaga wins this game, but UCLA's playing them a lot tougher than I thought they would.
Let's hop back over, see what the Sixers are doing real quick. Joe's got 15-7, and he's 9 for 13. Tobias 14, 6 of 8, and Ben 11, 4 for 6. And they're up 4, beginning of the third here.
Up 4 against the Timberwolves? Jesus Christ!
And again, fam, if you're not tuning in, make sure you're over. Want to pay attention to specifically the Sixers. The boys are over on YouTube doing some live reaction right now. So, and we should be being joined at least in a few minutes by Daniel. We'll see here.
Tell you what, man, he's a scary dude. I wouldn't want to be in the octagon with this man. I mean, obviously he's not doing as of right this moment. He's not doing MMA. This is he's one of these final heavyweights that we have going to be in the line fight tournament here to be crowning. I believe they're going to be crowning the champion. So we already had Joe Stripling on here. Daniel's another one of these guys. I've been interviewing him since back in the day. Awesome guy, great guy. And this is going to be another fun fight. We were just talking to Angela Riptide Whitley earlier, and that girl's smart as hell too. That she's another one. Like really hopes that she's able to secure what she needs to do April 9th for Lion Fight 65 here. So definitely going to be interesting. But I don't know, man. You think UCLA's turning the tide? Are they going to be able to do it, or what, man? Gonzaga will still win.
You still think that my initial assumption is correct that Gonzaga will just gas them out and eventually get them out of there because they're what? It's 38-34 UCLA and what? I think the biggest thing is turnovers right now is what's killing Gonzaga, right?
Yeah,
Because
it seems like they're getting
UCLA's
beat on
already
the
gotten what
boards.
was it at the bottom of the 9 fouls already?
Yeah, it seems like Gonzaga's getting beat on the boards too, which is never a good thing.
All right.
I haven't seen the numbers to see if if the numbers support that, but it just seems from watching with my own eyes that UCLA's out rebounding Gonzaga, and they're winning the turnover battle as well. So,
All right, he's here. There he is, Daniel. Let's get you lined up here. There we go. All right. Well, looks like Daniel is here in the back. So, real quick, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to switch gears real quick here, and we're going to be joined by our guest for tonight. He is Lion Fights heavyweight, Big Kansas, my good friend Daniel Gallenmore. Daniel, how are we doing, brother?
Doing good, man. Doing really good.
I know, man. You're looking good. I seen your picture, man. You're looking great.
Everybody's, yeah, man. Some
I
lifestyle
mean,
changes,
you might have to retire Big Kansas. That you're looking like a mini Diesel there, brother.
Yeah, if somebody said they're like, you're not Big Kansas anymore, you're medium Kansas now. I was like, no, I'm still an extra large XLT.
Always, man. First and foremost, appreciate you hopping on here last minute with me. Was glad to see you were on the card because it's been a while since me and you talked. So good to see that you're getting a crack at this Lion Fight heavyweight tournament. How excited are you for this?
I'm not actually in the tournament.
Oh, you're not? I thought
no,
you're
I'm not in the tournament.
alternate.
Check this. Look how pretty that is.
There you go. Look at that.
Isn't that beautiful? That's the mountain. You can't really tell probably because it's a little video, but the mountains are right in the center. The plane is going down.
I can do it like this. Boom, boom. There you go.
Pikes Peak is over there.
See, I can zoom you out. That's why I did it.
Yeah, that's nice. Getting ready to go to dinner with some friends from Hawaii, actually. But no, I'm not in the tournament.
What are you alternate?
No, not even alternate. Although
Dang.
I think I'm probably like a unofficial alternate, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how they'll do it, but yeah, I'm not in the actual tournament. They're in the semifinals.
Yeah.
I think Warren and Joe are the finalists.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, I'm not in the tournament, but I think I will be right there in the running with a good performance. At least I would like to hope so.
Is that what you're kind of hoping you line yourself up for? Get a good fight in here, get a win, and kind of put yourself in line to get yourself in line. Whoever wins this thing, see if maybe you can line yourself up that way.
I do. I think so. I'm pretty small right now though, and to be honest, I've had to jump my caloric intake twice to maintain the body weight I wanted to keep for this fight, where I would be smaller and leaner. But before I go talking about dropping weight classes and stuff, I obviously want to get some time in at this lighter weight and see how it feels. I didn't. People are a little confused too. I didn't actually lose this weight for the fight. I was losing the weight anyway, and I'd already leaned up significantly. My manager was like, "Hey, you're working really hard. You should take a fight. Do you want to?" And I was like, "Well, maybe if it's the right promotion or if the numbers are right, like I would consider it then. But I'm not like eager to fight." And then he said Lion Fight, and I was like, Muay Thai, yes.
You're like, yes. No one's going after my knees. Yes, I'll do that right now.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just one of the things I like about Lions Fight, man. It just gives you guys another avenue. The Muay Thai fights with being able to kind of get you guys can kind of work on some things and have some fun and not really have to worry about wrestling, jiu-jitsu, etc. And you guys can have some fun out there, especially you big guys. You guys have to worry about that sometimes. So a lot of times it's a lot of either grapplers or wrestlers, and now you can kind of have some fun, be able to kind of sit down on them punches. We get to kind of see what Big Kansas can really do.
Yeah, for sure. And the kicks and stuff too. You don't have to worry about a takedown off of a kick. You know, you can go out there and throw axe kicks or whatever kicks you want to at will because you're not worried about the double leg or anybody catching anything else. So it is a different ball game for sure. Sorry, my nutritionist just texted me. She's stoked.
Yeah, man. I'm sure she is absolutely stoked with it, with how you look, how your weight's coming along, and you know I know you're getting back in things. You know we all go through things in life. I know you're getting back into the swing of everything. So lion fights, what you're doing now, are we going to see you back doing MMA, or are you going to see you concentrate a little bit more on Muay Thai? What are you looking to do moving forward?
Man, I couldn't honestly tell you that I've had a lot of fun with fights lately, with MMA fights, with PFL and stuff. You know, it was a great organization. They paid well, but it wasn't as passionate about it anymore, really. You know, kickboxing, I fought in 2019. It was the first time I've kickboxed. That was fun. Like, it was exciting. It was fun. I didn't fight like I should have because it was a tournament, but same night tournament. But that was a lot of fun. I think I'm probably done with MMA. You know, probably kickboxing. Bare knuckles kind of stayed in touch here and there, and I'm curious about it. Like, I think that would be cool too. But
you might want to give Dave Feldman a call, and that's something you might want to entertain. You know, over the next few years, something you might want to look into.
Yeah, Dave might see this. Actually, I've got Dave's phone number in my phone, and it's already kind of a thing. It's been rolling a little bit. I know they're heavyweight champ personally.
He needs to see this.
I had Dave on a few weeks ago. You know, we're always talking and seeing. Hey, listen, if I can connect you two and get you on there, that'd be awesome. I'd love to see what you can do with bare knuckle boxing, brother. Regardless, if we're talking heavyweight, whatever you want to do, man. I want to see it.
Yeah, I mean, we know each other. I could text him. He's got my number saved. We know each other. It's good terms.
Oh yeah, dude. It's a small circle. People don't realize how much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Especially once you get like, I don't know, it's not arrogant, but like you get in like the top, you know, those top guys in the top promotions. You know the Dave Feldmans and the Ray Seppos and you know the Mick Maynard. You start to get to know those guys. You talk to those guys, and it's a small circle for sure.
Yeah. But what are you looking to do in this one? Like I said, you said it's been a while since you've been in there. Your new program. Your new body type, so to speak. What are you looking to do to showcase when you go in there April 9th?
Man, I'm just looking to showcase for sure. You know, I'm so grateful now with the abilities that I've had. You know, and this body that I've been blessed with, I guess you could say, like my physical ability, like the body's an amazing thing. It's crazy what you can do. I ran a 5:27 mile for the fun of it, like just because I was curious if I could. Like it's crazy what you can do if you set your mind to it and you eat right and you actually go out there and put in the work. Not talk about it, but actually go out there and put in the work. So I'd like to showcase some things. Muay Thai is going to enable that too, you know, because I don't have to worry about takedowns and whatnot. Not necessarily fancy, but I just want to get out there and move, man, and have some fun and put on a show.
Yeah, obviously, and then obviously they've nailed down their partnership with UFC Fight Pass, so you got a nice little platform to kind of grow yourself there too, being on that one, and like I said, if and when bare knuckle comes calling, that's another thing to kind of put in your hat to kind of something to keep the fires burning for you. And I know what you mean when you sit there and say it hasn't been fun. Like there's aspects of MMA and combat sports in general, just where if you get in a rut, sometimes it'll run you right out. It'll run the love right out of you.
Oh yeah, for sure. And it wasn't even just like, I don't know, you start getting paid and the money gets involved. Your passions change, and my life has changed a lot. Like, I got kids and I'm older and everything, like my outlook has changed, and there's just a lot of things have changed. And there was stuff that I wasn't mindful of that was going on, like emotionally inside of me that I didn't really know. I didn't do any self-reflection or anything like that. So I didn't even realize what was going on with me. I was kind of rolling through life, and that was that. I wasn't really like living it and being attentive and paying attention and being grateful and appreciative of things. So it's a lot different now.
Hey man, I'm good to hear you. Like I said, you look good. I can only imagine what you sound great. I can only imagine how that's going to translate when you get in the actual ring there for line fight. And like I said, hopefully, like I said, I really would like to see that opportunity with bare knuckle could come to fruition. I know, obviously, with you're sitting there saying you already got Dave's number in your pocket there, so hopefully. After April 9th, maybe it's something we can see you before the end of the year get in there again. Regardless of bare knuckle boxing, Muay Thai, whatever, obviously you plan to stay busy the rest of the year after this one.
Man, I'm not real sure. I get my kids over the summer and stuff, and I'd like to enjoy some time with them too. Part of this, my new perception, I guess, is an appreciation. Like my dad passed away when I was 13, man. My son's 14. So it's like, what did I need when I was 14 that my dad wasn't there to give me, like
that
takes,
I can give him that I didn't have, right? Yeah, I know exactly. I know what you mean. Like, dude,
yeah.
My dad wasn't really around, so I know exactly what you mean with that. So like I'm getting up there in age too. So it's like I think a whole lot more about that thing. Like make sure like they have this, they have that things that I didn't have that make sure that they have it.
Yeah, exactly, man.
And it doesn't have to be it's not even the material things. It's just the little things that mean more to us than words express. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's the support. Like he and I, my oldest son and I are in a personal training certification and nutritionist certification and stuff like that too. We're study buddies in that. And that's kind of cool. We're gonna knock that out before July, before his birthday. I want him to be a nutritionist before his birthday at 15 years old. He'll be turning 15 years old. And to have that education under his belt. And then, I mean, I don't know. He likes to cliff dive and stuff too. So we've got some spots to go check out over the summer too. And these cool stuff like that, dad stuff that fathers do with their kids.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
So
I got a few more years, man. I got my kid's only 9, right? Like my son's only 9, so I got a few more years before I get to able to do that stuff with him. But like, I just got both, my oldest daughter and my youngest son. I just got him, both of them back into the gym. So, they're going through that whole process again and stuff like that.
That's awesome.
I was cracking up. My daughter was coming to me, like we're back like week 2 or 3 now, and she's like, "Oh, my legs are still killing me." I'm like, "Yeah, look what happens when you're actually boxing and throwing punches properly, and you're actually using your muscles. Hey, look at that." So it's just fun. It's just fun busting her chops because I guess it's been like 2 or 3 years since she trained, so I guess she just don't even remember it.
Yeah. No, my daughter was killing it when we were out in Hawaii, man. The Palolo gym, she loved boxing. She was always killing it. Now she's kind of a little more introverted. She's got excellent art skills though, which is really cool. But my son's in high school, man. He's playing football. He's 14. He's 6 foot tall. Who would have thought? So he's living the athletic thing too.
So is he built like that? Do we have a future offensive lineman in the NFL or something?
Nah, he's a receiver, man. He's skinny. He's skinny and he's a little
faster. 7 foot tall receiver. Holy crap!
He's 14. He's 6 foot tall now, so he could very well beat me. I mean, he might be 6'6", 6'7". I don't know. He's wearing a 13 size shoe at 14 years old.
They're going to make him the back the first chance they get. He grows another few. He's like a 6'4" sophomore. They're like, "Hey kid, we need a good quarterback." They'll move him right there. Quick.
Man, their team. So this team that he's on has lost 3 games in 3 years. The freshman team, I think they've lost 3 games in 3 years. Their quarterback is a stud, and they've got a fullback that is a stud. I mean, it's just like I went to their first game, and I'm walking up. I was like 2 minutes late, and it's a safety, and I was like, "What?" I was like, "Is this? Did I just drive 5 hours for a blowout? Like, I don't want to watch. I want my kid to play, like somebody." And then their quarterback is running sideways, jumps, sidearms the ball, and it's like a 30-yard completion. And he's a freshman. I was like, holy cow! I was like, look at this kid. And then my son's like, oh yeah, Dad, they've got money. He's got a weight room. He's good. He's really good. And then their fullback too, man. Their fullback is this was the beginning of the year because it's football, right? So their fullback was probably 5'10", and I bet 175 pounds, and just shredded, jacked, fast. And this is a freshman kid. I was like, dude, this is crazy. Like, that's gonna be rough. That's a hard team to play on because they're so good. Like, but it's a good thing.
Excuse the look on my face. I turned on the Orlando Magic Utah Jazz game. I'm down here in Florida, so Magic are the local team. It's 50-24 in favor of Utah. So that was the face you just saw. That wasn't at your story or anything. I wasn't trying to disrespect you. The score was pretty lopsided.
Yeah, I want to come down to Florida. I'm in Colorado. This mask stuff is, I don't know. It's a bit much out here.
Yeah, I mean,
well, it has to be even rougher considering you're being at altitude. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I just don't like the gyms and stuff here. Like in Omaha, you have to wear it if you're within 6 foot of somebody else, right? Which is reasonable. It's 6 foot thing. But then here, you have to wear it. You have to wear it indoors. Period. I was like, I'm not running 14 miles an hour on a treadmill with a mask on. Like, that's no go. So I've just been running.
I umpire travel baseball down here. And some of the requirements, depending on where you're umpiring, they want you as an umpire to be on the field wearing a mask. I'm like, guys, I'm not putting on all my gear, going behind home plate in 90 to 100 degree weather while I'm also wearing a fucking mask. Like, you guys are out of your mind. Like, I'm just not doing it.
No, you can see. I'll turn the camera on. You can see the countryside. I run out here. You can't see the road now. There's a road that comes down, and it goes down in this ravine. Then it comes back up this hill over towards that house. And then there's a dead end sign over on the far side of that house that I run to, and then I run back down the hill and back up the hill. And it ends up being like 1.8 miles. There's usually pronghorn that come through the ravine and stuff too. It's pretty cool. Somebody around here's got chickens. It reminds me of back home in Kansas, man. It's country, it's quiet. You know, if somebody does happen to drive by, you know, they're waving and cool and nice. And it's a gravel road, so it's softer on the joints too. You know, it's a little easier to run on. It's great. It's beautiful out here.
But when it gets hot out there, like, I mean, it's so dry, I'm assuming, and everything. Like, you probably got like dust and everything, you know, kicking up in those fields with how hot it gets. Like, is it unbearably hot? Like, you wish it would go away when it gets to like that 100-degree point and all that.
It doesn't usually get to 100 degrees, and if it does get hot, it's dry. It's dry heat, so you don't stick to everything. And if it's that hot, you just drive west about 45 minutes and you're at about 10,000 feet and it's not hot anymore. It's great.
There you go.
Let's go. Like, damn, it's like 90 degrees down here. Let's go do a 14er and have a snowball fight. It's right over there.
There you go. I actually want to pose a question to you because, like you know, you've been seeing a lot of crazy stuff happening scoring wise in MMA and combat sports. And you know, a question we asked, and you know, on a show we had earlier today. Do you think all combat sports should have open scoring? I mean, like, could you imagine going to like a basketball game and not actually have the actual score? You know, being announced, and you're just trying to have like figure it out. We're just gonna figure it all out at the end, guys. You know,
no, I'm definitely a supporter of open scoring, and always have been. Kansas was one of the first states to implement that, and I know the Kansas commissioner, you know, very well. We went and had lunch, I think his first week in office, because he was trying to get like the local guys. You know, he said that I was on a short list of guys that were local that knew what they were talking about. So we went to lunch. I got a lot of respect for that guy, and he's very open and easy to communicate with as far as like the open scoring stuff. And then I actually helped get Muay Thai into Kansas. You know, I don't want to say it was my idea, but I was really pushing for it. And then he was like, yeah, you know, why not? It's like, it's never been done before professionally, but it's like MMA striking with bigger gloves on. So why couldn't we do it? And I was like, yes. So then I actually reached out to Scott at Lion Fight shortly after that. And I was like, hey man, so just so you know, Kansas, you could do this there. And then apparently that all panned out. I do wish that I have a promotion in Kansas too. Me and my coach back home. I wish that Lion Fight would have piggybacked our show though. I'm not gonna lie, because they're piggybacking a different show. They just have the main card portion on Fight Pass, but there's another show basically that happens before Lion Fight starts, and I wish it was our show, but it may be sometime. I don't know. We'll see. I know I'm pretty confident that I'm the biggest ticket seller for this show, and I'm getting some attention because they noticed that picture and all of the social media, interaction and content and stuff too. So it helps.
Yeah. It does, man. And people on like as much as bad stuff come from social media. Sometimes there's also some good stuff, like especially for you athletes, and for the few fans, and like you see some cool interactions both between athletes, fans, etc. So it definitely has its pluses, and the fact that it helps you guys as athletes when they're paying attention to you, seeing you guys having more ticket sales, giving you guys those better opportunities to put you in those right positions. It's awesome. But yeah, I'm sure next time, dude, I would probably just say something to Scott, be like, "Yo, what's up, man? Can we piggyback off mine next time?"
Yeah, I will. And I don't want to take away from those other guys. I just, I
Oh
feel like
no,
I had a decent hand.
no one's saying that. It's just we know what it is, man. We're just trying to get going. What we're trying to do. You know what I mean? I was doing it for myself. I was like, "Yo, man, when you coming to Philly?" Like I'm just saying, the end of the year looked nice. And he's like, "All right, just let me know. Send me some venues. We'll make it happen." So hopefully.
I'm scary.
Yeah, there you go.
That's too much.
No, that's fine.
They got all dark.
That's
Dude,
fine.
you look like you're about to cut a badass professional wrestling promo.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Leave it on. As I said, leave it on. It looks good.
Scary stories next to the campfire.
Exactly. So it's story time with Big Kansas. Let's go.
Like Bray Wyatt in his prime.
Yeah.
But not like I guess before we get ready to kind of wrap this thing up, I want to give me and Zach a few more minutes to kind of give the fans a little bit, a few more minutes of the live reaction before we let the other guys take over. Like anything you kind of want to say, like before we wrap everything up. What I typically do is kind of throw the proverbial microphone over to you. Anyone you'd like to thank, and shoot out your sponsors, anything you're working with outside of MMA, anything like that. The kind of the floor is yours, my friend.
I mean, Gigi Good is my nutritionist. We didn't do like a full-on camp. We did I'm pretty knowledgeable about it, and I'd already lost a bunch of weight. But she helped me out with the nutrient timing and like the details that have made big differences for sure. Absolutely made big differences. She works with a lot of other athletes too, a lot of higher end UFC athletes and stuff too. Power Plus mouth guards helped me out with the mouthpiece this time. Title Boxing sent me an amazing care package. I couldn't be more thankful for Title Boxing for sure. Robert Carver's my manager, and absolutely love that dude. He's not just a manager; he's a very, very close friend. Man, DCL MMA out here is the gym I've been training at, and Coach Steve has made a lot of time for me. I'm on a very busy schedule out here. I run in the morning and I work all day, and I don't know exactly what time. I'm not a 9-to-5er, so I don't know what time I'm getting off exactly. And we've been able to make that work really well. And then he brought guys in for sparring too. I had great sparring. I always forget where my damn after party is at. I'm having an after party in Salina, and it's going to be great. The burgers looked amazing. The place starts with a P, and if you're there in Salina, ask me about it, and I'll tell you where it's at. But I can't remember the damn name of the place. But it was somebody that my manager knew, and I looked, and I was like, "Oh man, that place looks really good. Like if I was in Salina, I would eat there regardless of the fight or anything else. It looks awesome." And then the guy that owns its background photo is a challenger doing a burnout, which is pretty badass. I like challengers, but
Mopar's the way to go.
it's probably no, you just ruined it, man. No, I'd like challengers. No, I'm a Ford guy.
No. Driver returns on foot with that, man. Come on, man. The only thing I'll give you guys is trucks. I'll give you guys trucks all day long. I'll give you trucks all day long. All day long, 4 trucks. Anything after
2 power strokes.
Right, that's it. That makes sense. When we go on some other things, I'll have some disagreements with you on. We can file the show name and agree to disagree on some things.
I got a Fox Buddy Mustang too, and you can't hit on Fox Buddy Mustangs too much. Those things make stupid power.
My brother, and like at least 2 or 3 of my friends had different variations of it between like the notchback Fox body to the GT to the convertible. Like dude, I was in so many different one of those cars. I could tell you them cars in and out, and they're a lot of fun to drive, especially when we probably put a good $2,500 into the engine management system.
That's it.
That's all you need in them cars.
That's it.
That's all you. All you probably need to do after that is just change the gears in the rear and have some fun.
Yeah. I've got an 82 notchback with T-tops. You ever seen one of those?
Oh my God, that's even older. Holy crap, you're going back for the See, I was an 88. Mine 88 IROC with T-tops. So
Have you ever seen a coupe Mustang, a notchback Mustang with T-tops in a year? Have you ever seen one?
not to my knowledge. Not off the top of my head, anyways. I can't.
I've got the only one I've ever seen.
It's hard, man, because you don't really see a whole lot of them have T-tops.
No, most of them are GTs and stuff.
Yes. But that's also because mostly because the T-top cars, the way the frames are, you can't really put a whole lot of serious power through it.
Well, they just didn't make a lot of notchback T-tops, though. But, man, I miss my T-tops, and notchback is lighter, so it's the best of combos. I just got to do some really solid subframe connectors for sure.
Hey, man, we'll get a chance to kind of have some more gearhead talk on another show. But Daniel, it's always a pleasure. Always appreciate your time. Best of skill in the ninth, and hopefully we get you back on here, regardless if it's lion fights next, bare knuckle boxing, whatever's next for you. We'll get you back on, have some fun, and as always, again, appreciate everything.
Yeah, thanks, guys. I hope you guys have a good night.
You too, my friend. Have a good one.
Later.
All right, everyone. That was Daniel Big Kansas Gallenmore. Everything. We're talking everything from high school football to freaking muscle cars, and Daniel's one of these guys. I love him, man. He's got so many layers to him. Just a cool dude. And I actually I thought he was in the tournament. I really did. But hey,
you're like, wait, you're not? Like, that's a waste of. There's a lot.
No,
the whole time. Now
that is a waste of Daniel's talents. It's a waste of Daniel's talents. That's what that is. That's a waste of Daniel's talents. I love Scott, love PFL. I gotta have a conversation with that man. He better be the freaking alternate at this point in time. But like I said, even if he's not, he probably should be the one lined up for whoever comes out the other end. That's probably what they're trying to do, bringing him in now, doing that. Make more sense. Last few more minutes before we get ready to wrap things up. What are you thinking on what's going on with UCLA and Gonzaga? Are we still primed for an upset or what?
In the history of college basketball, let me tell you.
What's that?
The longest fucking halftime ever. But Gonzaga, I mean, they closed. They closed it there towards the end of the half and really seemed to find it a little bit. I want to see how the half gets out to how it gets started, but I think Gonzaga could come out and have a big first 5 minutes of this second half and maybe separate themselves a little bit from UCLA.
Yeah, we'll see, man.
I think the UCLA's credit, they came out and had a lot of energy early and kind of jumped all over Gonzaga a little bit early.
Well, like I said, we'll see if
caught them off guard.
We'll see if I'm right over the next. We'll see if I'm right over the next 20 to 30 minutes. If Gonzaga was just gonna tear into them later in the second half here, we'll see. I'm pretty sure the Sixers are still doing pretty well. I'll have to kind of flip back over to them in a minute, since we're getting ready to wrap things up here. Anything you want to add on as we're getting ready to finish up another episode of the Weekly Roundup, my friend?
Phillies are 2-0. What did I say 2 weeks ago? And you got all over me, and people were laughing. What was my win total? Sweep the Braves. That'd be nice. Come out tomorrow on Easter. Let's sweep the Braves. I said 95 wins, right? Everybody's talking about that magic 90 number. 90. Oh, we're going to win 90 games. 90 games might not be good enough. You got a really competitive National League East. You've got a lot of really good teams in the National League. The Dodgers and the Rockies, the Diamondbacks. You got 4 teams in the National League East that can be competitive. You got the Cardinals. You've got the Brewers in the Central. I mean, there's way too many good teams in the National League for me to be comfortable saying, oh, yeah, 90 games. Fuck that. I need to win 95 games. I know I guarantee myself a playoff spot, and you solidify yourselves as one of the best teams in baseball. Imagine you go win 95 games this year, win the National League East. You kind of hey, damn, the Phillies are fucking good. Who knew they were this good? I think this team thinks they can be that good. I don't know if anybody else around baseball thinks they can be that good, but this team certainly has that swagger or that mojo. They think they can be that good. Fuck it. If this team gets hot and they're like really, really good come the deadline, Dombrowski's going to do something to make a move to get everything he possibly can out of this year. That's what he does. He just will. So
I'm definitely looking forward to more Phillies talk, more baseball talk. I already told you hopefully I got us two nice, baseball guests, moving forward over the season.
Steven, am I wrong by saying that we're one legitimate pitcher, like another legit? Like if we add one more ace to this staff, I think this is like a World Series contender. Like if you could trade Spencer Howard, Mickey Moniak, Scott Kingery, and maybe a couple other prospects to go out and get the top starting pitcher on the market come the deadline and bring them in here, all of a sudden you've got three guys at the top of your rotation that are really fucking good. And I love this team, going into the playoffs. Like I feel like that's where you could be at if you get off to a good.
But don't we also still have to worry about re-signing JT long term? So don't you have to still watch on who
JT's re-signed long term?
I thought it was only a one or 2 year deal.
Yeah, it's a 5-year deal.
Oh no, see, all right, that's my fault then.
They made all that happen. You got that. You got the middle of your lineup locked in. Right, Harper's there. Muto's there. You think you're hoping Alec Boehm's going to be that guy going forward, right? So that middle of the lineup is there. Yeah. I think Moniak showed enough in spring training where all of a sudden he looks intriguing enough in a trade package to somebody where they're like, okay, yeah, I like that guy. He's still 21 years old. He's still a young enough prospect. Maybe we've soured on him here in Philly, but that doesn't mean somebody else is like, hey, yeah, I like what that kid can bring to the table. Spencer Howard, I think, is the guy that a lot of teams still look at and say, what a sexy prospect.
Well, like I said, man,
in a heartbeat for a top pitcher.
It's still early. It's still early. I think you're right. I think if you do get an arm, you can't really say they're not, especially if we're projecting that they're going to continually be on the fairly upside of winning. It's still early. Like I said, again, we'll be back next week. Another fun one lined up. Like I said, boys are still on YouTube. Make sure you're heading over there if you're not already over there. Again, make sure you're chomping in on the giveaway. I'll probably be making a post over social media at some point in time tomorrow, since Easter Sunday, everyone should be home as it is. Anyways, another fun one. I'm Steve. That's my favorite